Sorry. Okay.
Introduce yourself, man.
Introduce. Okay. I'm Imani.
And I'm Jadin.
And we're from the WEX Leaders WEX Flow Anthropology class.
8 reasons to run from antidepressants. Now, before I start, I'd like to point out that everything I'm presenting here has been published in scientific journals and or has been reported on extensively in the media through sources such as the BBC, ABC, USA Today, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, these kind of publications. So if you're interested in getting into the details of the 8 reasons to run from antidepressants, I've provided links to all my research on the right-hand side in the text box over there. So reason number 1 to run from antidepressants, they don't work. For most people, it has been proven that antidepressants do elevate your mood and make you feel better, but they don't make you feel any better than placebos, which are basically the equivalent of taking Flintstone vitamins for your depression. The evidence of this research was found to be so strong by the UK government that on February 27th, the government announced that it plans to spend £170 million to train 3,600 psychologists, because now they know that basically psychiatrists are not helpful when you want to cure your depression. So why are we finding this out just now when antidepressants have been out in the market for 15 or 20 years now? Well, the reason is reason number 2, big pharma lies. What they do is, when they have good research results, they market that, they share it with psychiatrists, they promote these things, they put them in psychiatric journals, things like that. But when the research is negative, they just throw it in the garbage. So basically, they've got this new study out that has looked at all of the research results that have been tossed or unpublished, and basically what they show is just about every major pharmaceutical company that promotes antidepressants, that has an antidepressant of some kind, is lying about the research. Number 3, pharma ads really work. You are the victim of a very successful marketing campaign, and in fact, in the last 10 years, the diagnosis of bipolar disorder has increased 4,000%. And a big part of that is due to the marketing efforts of these pharmaceutical companies. And studies also show that the more a pharmaceutical company advertises an antidepressant or other drug, the more you will specifically go to your psychiatrist and ask for it. And it should come as no surprise that if you ask for a specific drug from your psychiatrist, something that you've seen on TV, 82% of the time he'll give it to you. So because aggressive marketing has been so successful for the pharmaceuticals, what you see is an increase in ad spending every year for the last 10 years, the bar chart in red going up and up and up. Meanwhile, new drug approvals, which would be reflective of the research and development investment of pharmaceuticals, is declining. And finally, one thing you probably didn't know about the marketing of pharmaceutical companies is that there is a very good chance that your psychiatrist has some sort of undisclosed deal with one or more pharmaceuticals where they have agreed in some way to work for the pharmaceutical company, either through doing research or through promoting their drugs, which in effect make the psychiatrist a little bit like a spokesman or a sales rep for the pharmaceutical company, except they didn't bother to tell you that. In Minnesota alone, medical staff got over $57 million from Big Pharma between 1997 and 2005. Number 4, antidepressants tend to have very harmful side effects, the worst of which are suicide, murder, and school shootings. This map shows all of the school shootings and stabbings which have happened in the United States between 1996 and 2006. It's been estimated that over 50% of school shootings involve antidepressants of some kind. And research shows that these antidepressants, which are supposed to prevent suicide, actually double the risk of suicide for those under 25 years of age. And number 5, if you can believe it, after all these years of study and all these billions of dollars spent in research, psychiatrists still do not have a test to prove that you have a mental illness or a chemical imbalance or a bipolar disorder in any biological way. We have hunted for big, simple neurological explanations for psychiatric disorders and have not found them. Now, who said that? Some sort of activist? No. Dr. Kenneth Kendler, psychiatrist, co-editor-in-chief, Psychological Medicine, 2005. Reason number 6 is getting off these things can be really difficult, especially because often it seems that when you try and get off the antidepressants, the feelings that you were trying to get rid of in the beginning, the reasons you took the drugs in the first place, come back even stronger. So we have reports of people feeling extremely suicidal or extremely violent, whereas before they weren't like that. Okay, number 7 is a reason for optimism and hope for depressed people because the New York Times reports that psychotherapy for as long as 9 months is significantly more effective than short-term treatments for alleviating depression and is, of course, more effective than antidepressants. Personally, I think that anybody who's suffering from depression should be seeing some sort of therapist, but I also think that it's important to find the therapist that you feel comfortable with. And yeah, if he's got a degree from Harvard, that's great, but if he gives you a cold feeling and you start to look at him like you think he's the Antichrist, get out of that room. And finally, reason number 8 is YouTubers really enjoy my How to Heal Depression video, which I think if you're depressed in any way, you should at least take a look at. A few people that I've shown it to that have been depressed in the past have looked at it and said, you know what, that's my life, and that was how I got out of my depression. And personally, it reflects how I was able to get out of 3 previous depressions in my life as well. Okay, that's it. There's your 8 reasons, and just a word of warning, please, if you're going to come off your antidepressants, please come off them slowly, ideally under the supervision of a doctor, because those withdrawal symptoms can be really tough. That's it. Bye-bye.
I already explained the movie.
Not go.
We're starting?
So go.
Jaden, you know what you're talking about.
Just explain the movie.
It's good. Yeah.
Okay, basically, Jaden's going to be talking about antidepressants and how they influence your life and other ways that you can feel happy or be motivated without using pills.
Okay, so basically what an antidepressant drug is it releases endorphins in the brain, which is the feel-good hormone. And when you go on it, makes you feel really good for a while, and then what it does is it makes you crash even harder than when you went on it. And this can also increase the risk of suicide. It can make you space out, it can make you not think properly. You can... Shit, what was the other thing?
Oh my. No, it's cute. It's cute. You can't swear.
Who cares? It's YouTube.
Okay,
Freedom of expression. Language.
Yeah.
a good what's the word? A good example of not using antidepressants to when you're feeling down is Ellery.
You can also, I was about to say you can do yoga too. And also you can use green therapy or animal therapy.
Talk about the difference between a psychiatrist and a psychologist.
Okay. People that aren't aware, like, for example, let's use this for example. A person's feeling like they're hearing voices or something, and a friend recommends them to go to a psychiatrist. It's not a good idea because they'll be basically put on drugs instead of talking through their problems.
As soon as they go in, they put you on an antidepressant drug or a drug that they think will make you feel better.
Instead, a psychologist, on the other hand, will actually talk through your problems.
Find post-traumatic stress.
And how does antidepressant drugs make you want to commit suicide?
Because what they do is, since they release the endorphins, which makes you feel good, they stop releasing as much of the endorphins because your brain's so used to it now. And what it does is when you go on it, you only feel like, well, after a certain amount of time, you feel good for a little bit, and then you crash way harder, and it makes you want to kill yourself.
And what kind of hope does this give you?
False hope. The hope that's not there. That's in the pill.
Well, thanks for tuning in.
And scene?
We got no plans at all. Evil man's always transcending. Fighter like sheep, swallow everything. Always simpletons or pretending. We got no plans.
This is your moment of clarity from LeeCamp.net, coming to you today from Montreal, Canada. There's a new drug that doctors have recently discovered, and it could be the miracle drug for depression because it doesn't cause the side effects that other antidepressants cause, like emotional numbness and suicidal tendencies. That's right, some antidepressants cause suicide. It's like Nicorette gum causing a crack addiction, or Viagra making you ugly. It defeats the goddamn point. Apparently it's not that the drugs create the suicidal thoughts, it's that the drug makes it so that some depressed people finally have the energy and stick-to-itiveness to get the job done. So before antidepressants, I guess some depressed people are like, oh, I want to end it. I'm ready to be done with this shit show, this bullshit parade of daily instant coffee followed by microwave-ready non-events and discontent. But jumping out the window sounds like a whole thing with the thing. You gotta get the stool, and then you gotta lift the window, and then third thing, and I'm not even sure I wouldn't pull my hammy just getting out on the ledge, and fuck it, maybe tomorrow. But then you give the person antidepressants, and they're like, alright, let's do this shit. I'll jump out windows all day long. Anyway, the miracle drug is called ketamine, and it doesn't have those problems. But the reason you can't buy ketamine from a drugstore is that it does something even worse. It makes you, wait for it, high. That's right. This rancid Lucifer juice of a pill makes you happy and full of life and delusionally euphoric. Because the one thing we cannot have is happy people. Being artificially content would fuck up the entire system. Depressants, like alcohol, we're fine with. Fill everybody to the brim with the substance that slowly dims their wits and makes them cry quietly into a stranger's arms after vomiting in the bathroom of a bar. We don't even seem to have much of a problem with cancer-causing substances. The Clean Water Act is violated like 100,000 times a year with no punishment, not to mention plastics and GMOs, artificial sweeteners, or BPA. It's completely acceptable if a substance gives you cancer or seizures, diabetes, heart disease, or ball sack gangrene, as long as we make goddamn certain nothing is causing excessive happiness in the populace. No happiness, unless you get it from causing harm to others. If that's the case, then we have a chair for you on the board of a multinational. That's been your moment of clarity from LeeCamp.net. The 5-minute video about my comedic investigation of tax havens, filmed live in the Cayman Islands, is now up. Click here to watch it. It was done in coordination with the Yes Men, the other 98% US uncut and qualified laughter. You'll like it. Trust me.
No plans at all. Evil man's always transcending. Fighter like sheep, swallow everything. Always simpletons or pretending.